chess boxing. What do you guys know about that? Have you ever heard the term? So, chess boxing is exactly what you might think, where two people are playing chess and then they box, all within the parameters of the same contest. Okay, so imagine this. You get an arena. You fill it up with fans. You've got a ring set up. You've got a level of production. Out comes the red corner, out comes the blue corner. They sit down in the ring and they begin to play chess. X amount of time or moves later, it's time to box. The chess table lifts into the air. The guys put their hands down as cornermen slide gloves on them, and then they go and box. Now, if I left out any of the intricacies within the rules, it doesn't matter. I'm just wondering if you guys have seen this and what you thought, because this event that I caught did 3.5 million downloads on YouTube, had a French broadcast team, had a Spanish broadcast team, and had an English broadcast team. But that's a huge sign. Like, that's Vince McMahon level stuff. When you're in so many different countries that one event you have to have multiple different announce tables just to communicate. It's a big sign. I don't know how big this is. I do not know. I know the 3.5 from YouTube, and that's a massive number, but the show is a couple of hours long, right? So how long did people stick around for? You know, a 4-hour offering. Now, if you were in the YouTube business, you want to just put it up there one time, you'd have broken everything down and you'd have done these clicks several times. What I'm sharing for you is that doesn't lead me to tease them and go, oh, you don't know what you're doing on YouTube. No, it leads me down a different road, possibly falsely, but it tells me they have so many other things going on that's just not the one they're worried about. That's just not the stream that they're worried about. I then take a look at the in-house audience. It's packed. It wasn't sold out. I didn't say that, but it was packed. Thousands and thousands of people there. And I'm wondering why it worked. I'm wondering how come it worked. Was this the chess audience? Because there are things out there that I don't know about. I mean, they surprised me when I hear them. It was a number of years ago. There's a guy named Ninja. And he would go and play video games, but he would sell out Madison Square Garden to watch him play video games. And they'd throw it up on the big screens. And I mean, it was just one of these situations. Before you go and tease him, I halfway get it. If you were into a video game, right, and particularly with the graphics that they have today, it's a movie. Not quite, but it's a movie. It is remarkable how real they sound. Some of them are bringing in stars. Conor McGregor did a voiceover for a real quick clip within a video game one time, just by example. But they've had a number of stars doing this. So if you did this just right, it was just big enough and you were familiar with it because you played yourself, but you couldn't get around it. Some guy kept popping up over here, a guy popped up over here, so now you can't get to the next scene. Imagine that. Imagine you're watching a movie. You want to know what happens next in the movie, but you can't get there because you can't beat these guys. Now you go to Madison Square Garden, you got a big screen. Somebody does beat those guys. They get you to the next chapter of the movie, right? I mean, there is an element to this. As brutally dull on the list of hobbies and things I would want to do, but it still makes the list. It does. I get it. To a degree, but I get it. So, but that's what I'm asking you guys here. Is this the chess audience? Is chess like the video game nerds that can pack a house to watch some other nerd play? Is that what it is? So this is actually just the chess audience. And it has nothing to do with boxing, right? Because it most certainly was not the boxing audience, but we know that. That's okay. That's not an insult. It's a question for me. Where does this end? Like, by example, if I wanted to do chess grappling, does it work? Could you grapple for 90 seconds after X amount of plays or time playing chess? So I feel as though I could build that in a clearer way, which is I'm looking for the most cerebral chess player. Grappling, after all, it's a game of chess. Your move, my move, and I need a real intelligent, real high IQ guy. Like, I feel like you could do that. The problem with grappling for 90 seconds, two guys could just stare at each other. With boxing, there's actually a little bit of engagement. I mean, I don't know. It's different in some degree. I didn't understand it in the first place. I saw something called car jujitsu. Guys are in a car, and then they start beating each other up. I mean, it was terrifying. It was just this horrible thing. There was an audience for it. And so I'm very curious about this chess boxing. And this was put on by a young guy, and the young guy was a showman. I mean, he had a level of charisma. He had a level of charm. He put on a level of theater, even at the very end, that would even make Vince McMahon proud. He did a really good job. So why is this around? Is it the boxing element? If it is the boxing element, could I do that with a grappling element? If it is a grappling element, I mean, where does this end? Could we shoot free throws? Could we break into a different sport? Could we volley a ball? I mean, where does it end? And boxing does change things. It really does. People just understand that, right? They just understand it. What do you think? I mean, what do you think of chess boxing? What would you think of chess grappling? Is this the first time you've heard of it and you think I'm kidding? Because I'm not.